So far we discussed what is marketing, the 4 P's of marketing, marketing mix, that is product, price, place, promotion, the role of marketing in a developing economy and also in a developed economy, and we started discussing about marketing of services also. So let us continue our discussion. So Mr. Suresh, you are explaining about the marketing mix of service organizations, that there are 3 other P's, that is people, process and physical evidence. Will you please explain them briefly?
Yeah. So, taking on the people in the service organization, you should always remember that the difference between a manufacturer and a seller is not very evident in the case of services. The one who manufactures, for example, a doctor who gives some service is the same guy who is going to offer it to the customer also most often. So, you are having a very great emphasis on the people who are involved in service delivery. If you take an example of a hotel or services, the person who opens the door, the darban, the bellboy, the receptionist, the one who is going to serve food in the room, all these people are very, very important, and they are an essential element of the mix that is being offered to the customer. Then the process, how they are doing it, is also equally important. To an extent that I am told in some restaurants, the kitchens have been made lookable kinds, you put up glass paints, it's not put under a 9-inch concrete wall, behind 9-inch concrete walls, they have just been put behind transparent glass panes. So one can see what's happening in the kitchen, and you can feel, okay, my food that is going to come from this kitchen is good, okay, it's being prepared the right way that I would like to have it. So the process you have to really be taking care of, and it is not sufficient to take care of a good process. You have to create an evidence that you are doing that. That also becomes more important. You will have to give an evidence that you are doing a good job of what you are doing. For example, if a pathological laboratory looks very unclean, it's giving a wrong physical evidence. You should have a very clean pathological lab, and that's part of physical evidence. And in addition to the 4 P's that we discussed in the morning, the 3 P's, that is people, physical evidence and process, are essential when you are strategizing with relatively more intangible products called services.
So there are 3 additional components to the marketing mix. Right. Yeah, please, would you like to add something?
The thing is, insofar as services marketing is concerned, it is said there are 4 P's of marketing for product marketing, 7 P's of marketing for services marketing. Fine, theoretically, based on the literature, that this is what we talk about. But what is important is, I will quote Richard Doe. He said, there are 4 P's of marketing for services. These 4 P's are people, people, people
and people.
And people. What is important is, services should directly give the utmost satisfaction to the customers, and this is possible only when there is personalized service is extended by the marketer. Wherever you go in the service marketing processes, you take any example, be it a hotel, a hospital or any service agency, IT educational organization, the interface with people is so much that you come across people in the process at every stage, and hence it is said it is people, people, people and people, and all other elements are associated, but the significance is people, and the success of services marketing depends on the people engaged for delivery of service. Yeah. That is important.
Professor Venkaya, in the morning, the first hour of our discussion, you explained the characteristics of services, that services should possess certain characteristics like intangibility, inseparability, perishability, like that. So, are there any intangible characteristics that is the services may have?
Fine. See, in fact, this intangibility as a characteristic is leading the marketers to look at the marketing effort in a different way. This is the primary characteristic that differentiates the marketing approach for services marketing. And the intangibility as an element in marketing has got certain characteristics, intangibility characteristics of services. They are, number one is, it is a service cannot be touched. A service cannot be touched. As I said, services, you cannot own them. You cannot possess them. You can make use of a facility. For example, if you buy an air ticket, you will travel and use that seat for the 2 hours or 1 hour, whatever the case is. And services, and in that process, it is the service, once it is over, it's over. Marketing task is over. A service cannot be touched. You cannot touch the services. Precise standardization is not possible. Here, the lecture given by a teacher to explain one topic might be superior than the other one. There cannot be a standardization in terms of the ability of a teacher to give a lecture. Similarly, a doctor performing surgery. The person, a doctor performing surgery on patient X, same kind of diligence, excellence and success may not be there in the case of
Another patient.
patient, and hence precise standardization. For the same patient, the kind of treatment a patient received on an earlier visit may be different from the one that he receives from the current visit. That is where precise standardization is not possible. No ownership transfer. As I said, possession utility is absent in the case of services. No ownership is possible. No title transfer.
No title transfer.
And
So in the case of product, title can be transferred.
yeah, in the case of product, you can own it, bring it home, use it, and that is yours.
Yeah.
But in the case of services, ownership, title transfer is not taking place. At another characteristic is a service cannot be patented. It cannot be
No
patented.
patent rights,
Yeah, no patent rights. See, the skill of a musician. In the musical concert, a musician can perform and people can enjoy by buying a ticket. It's not possible to patent. And also the skill cannot be transferred from the person who can perform it. Production and consumption are inseparable. The customer and the performer, the marketer, will come together in the delivery process. Yeah. You take any service example that is there. No inventories of service. Services are perishable. No inventory.
No inventory.
An hour unvisited for a doctor by the patients, an hour unvisited by any patient is gone. It's perished out and it cannot be stocked. And last one is consumer is part of the production. Consumer becomes a part of the marketing and production process. These are the characteristics of intangible aspect of services. And these intangible characteristics of services are causing problem to the marketers because precise design of marketing strategy is very difficult. In the first instance, there is a need to do market research from time to time, and customer opinion surveys shall be conducted. Customer feedback is essential to revisit the marketing strategy and redesign the marketing strategy to sustain the marketing task and also to successfully organizing the marketing effort.
Yeah.
This is important. So these characteristics are responsible for the 7 P's of marketing instead of 4 P's. The other 3 P's, as explained by Suresh, are because of the characteristics of the intangible characteristics of services.
So
another
from
thing that happens,
yeah.
Professor Kiranmai, is something like this. Compared to goods purchase, services purchase are perceived to be more riskier. Now, when something is relatively more riskier, the marketer will have to go that much far nearer to the customer. That is, that much far from himself
Yeah.
and more nearer to the customer. And that's what he was somewhere talking about, that inseparability is also very, very critical there. And production and consumption happens at the same time. So that lends that the marketeer or the producer of services has to take that much extra care to do it right the first time.
Yeah.
You don't have a repeat facility. In a manufactured good, if the good is not good, for example, a soap is not according to specifications, you can dump it and make another soap. But what will I do if I am going to cut open somebody's heart and I am going to do something? The surgery cannot be, I can't do anything. Yeah. So service that way, it lends, therefore, it is more critical. It's more important that the people have to be on the assignment more than otherwise.
Yeah. So from what both of you said, actually formulating marketing strategy is slightly more difficult for a service organization compared to an organization which is marketing its products?
We have greater history in product strategization.
Yeah.
We have a relatively lesser history in
Yeah,
service
Mr.
strategization.
Suresh, will you please
It's
explain
more
what's the
complex, more challenging,
challenging.
more attention drawing from the marketer's side, and then more intensive in terms of its need for marketing research and customer satisfaction level. Measuring the customer satisfaction level is a constant task on the part of a service marketer.
Now, would you like to add anything?
And
Mr.
there is what
Suresh?
is
Yeah.
called word of mouth or negative publicity, which leads
Publicity.
to the collapse of the business enterprise as such, particularly in the services. industry.
Services. Would you like to add anything for that?
Yeah, when we, again, I'm not really saying that it will be very difficult. I mean, the word difficult is a negative connoter. I mean, it connotes negativity. So it's not difficult. Certainly very different. It's not
We should be
necessarily
extra
difficult.
careful, or
You have to be extra careful. You have to look with probably a different pair of glasses.
yeah.
When you're looking at products, you look with a kind of a glasses. When you're looking at services, you look at it with a different pair of glasses. But once you start looking at services more often, as a practitioner, I've heard number of people say that we enjoy service marketing more than goods marketing, because it really takes me closer to the customer. It really gives me the feel of that marketing concept. I research the customer. I give what the customer wants. It gives a inner satisfaction, and that's great actually.
So, Professor Venkaya, will you please give a live example of any organization which actually marketed their services successfully?
Maybe I will take the help of McDonald as a case. McDonald product is successful all over the world. McDonald means quality. McDonald means value for money. McDonald means hygienic environment, and above everything, consistency in terms of food taste.
True.
They market their product more than 110 countries today.
Across a wide
And,
geography.
25,000 restaurants are there now. McDonald
25,000.
restaurants all over the world, 25,000. And billions of dollars of business they do. And what is important is they approach globally and design locally. The McDonald food that they supply in US is different from the one that they supply in another country.
That is, it should actually satisfy the local needs.
Local need, looking global approach and local consistency. That is the strategy. And they have in the next 2 years they have a target of 3,000 more units to be started. Of late, they are also thinking of mobile restaurants. And in hospitals also they are planning to start McDonald restaurants. This is the kind of, what is important is high level of service, quality food, consistent service, personalized attention, and above all reasonable price across the world, that they are able to service the clientele to the satisfaction of every customer, and they are successful. This is one example which I can draw immediately. McDonald, 110 countries they covered so
Yes.
far. It's not a,
It's
not a
small, not a small task.
It's very big
What is
achievement.
more important is their recruitment of the franchising units. Are they engaging or extending franchising to the units? They are very, very careful, very, very careful.
Yeah.
Their selection is tough, and once they do it, they extend all support, and then the quality is maintained. McDonald could be one example which we can cite.
One of the success stories.
Certainly. Certainly.
So, let us switch over to the next unit, that is unit 4, that is on planning marketing mix from block 2. So, Mr. Suresh, in the first half actually we discussed about marketing mix and also marketing strategy. So, will you please now throw some light on the relationship between these two, marketing mix and marketing strategy?
Yeah, as we said, marketing strategy is the methodology that is there for the organizations to go about and do what they intend to do or what's their goal or objective. Now, how can one offer something to suit their plan? Let's take an example. An organization wants to increase its market share from 10% to 20%. Then the next issue would be, how do we increase the market share from 10% to 20%? Should we price our product more? today if my price of the product is 10 rupees, should I increase it so that I will get the same kind of the objective of return? Then there is a debate, okay, if you increase the price, there is a possibility that the market would fall and therefore you will never get that much of share that you desire. So then what you do, okay, we will try and operate in some markets, we will try and operate in certain other, I mean, for example, I'll take care of X market, Y market, Z market and go on. Then you say that if I have to operate in a very new market, what kind of advertising, what kind of promotion, what kind of publicity, what kind of personal selling am I going to take it on? Then if I am going to again another market, if my current outlets, let us say I am having some 3000 outlets, will my desired increase in market share from 10 to 20% be achieved using only these 3000, or should I increase it to 4000, or do I categorize these 3000 outlets as some 2500 as routine and 500 as very focused kind of outlets where I expect greater return? So if you look at what I have been telling in the last about a minute or so, you will see that there is a product variant that is attempted at modification, there is a price variant, there is a distribution variant, and there is a promotion variant in consonance with the market variants. This is the linkage between strategy and the marketing mix which is there. You extend the same to services marketing. For example, if I say that I am having an hospital and I would like, today I am covering out of every 100 heart patients in a particular city, I am getting 40 heart patients and I want, let us say, 60 heart patients. Now what do I do then? Do I increase my staff? People. When we talk of services, we are talking of people. Do I increase my number of surgeons? Do I increase the way in which these are being looked at? Processes. And do I create an evidence that I can give a greater capacity? I mean, from moving from 40 to 60, I should tell people that there is a greater capacity available with me. Should I show that? Create physical evidence. These will be the issues when you are talking of the services dimension. But whether it is goods side or services side, marketing mix is the methodology to service or to enable your strategy, take you towards your goal.
Yeah, please. Would you like to add anything, Professor?
Yeah, I will take the help of a chart to explain the relationship between marketing mix, that is 4 P's, and also the macro environmental factors vis-a-vis the marketing strategy, in relation to marketing strategy. Now, this chart explains the different factors influencing company marketing strategy. Now, the central part of the chart is target customers. Target customers. The immediate circle covers the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, promotion, and place, that is distribution. And then the next circle has other subsystems, supporting subsystems, that is marketing information system being the starting point, MIS, MKIS we call it, marketing information system, marketing planning system, marketing organization and implementation system, and the last one is marketing control system. So, marketing planning to control, marketing information system, marketing planning system, marketing organization and implementation system, and marketing control system. You see, around the target customers or market, you have 2 circles. One is product, price, place and promotion, another is marketing information to control, marketing information, etc. These 2 circles are called micro environmental forces. They are internal to the company. All these are controllable variables. All these are controllable variables. The other 2 circles you have, they are not in circles, but you see the 4 inner circle 4 elements, outer circle 4 elements. Marketing intermediaries, I mean channel members, outside agencies, wholesalers, retailers, etc. Publics, general different publics, government, society, community, etc. Competitors and suppliers. These are the 4 variables which influence the marketing strategy. 4 factors, different factors.
It consists of external
And
environment.
these are to some extent controllable through your measures. These are semi-controllable.
Semi-controllable.
Total controllable is first 2 circles. Next, semi-controllable variables or factors are the next. Uncontrollable macro environmental factors are there. They are not within the control or sometimes imagination of the company. For example, technological and physical environment. Technology keeps changing very fast.
Yeah.
And technology makes products obsolete. Technology changes the lifestyles of people. Technology changes the consumer's perception of the value of the products that we design. And hence technology and physical environment is the first important macro environmental. We don't call it, we call them as forces, because they have a lot of influence on the marketing strategy of a company. The second is socio-cultural environment, sociological, cultural parameters of the environment. Political and legal, for example, business regulation, deregulation measures, etc. Law enforced by the government from time to time, etc. Demographic and economic environment, the economic conditions in the country, economic climate, and also the demographic features which we explain further in the market segmentation and consumer behavior, etc. These factors, these are all external environment forces. So marketing strategy of a company is influenced by controllable factors which are controlled by the company within, and also the external environmental forces of demographic, economic environment, technological, and so on. This is the relationship between marketing strategy and marketing strategy and marketing mix. Now, the use of marketing, the 4 P's are used because they are controllable to counteract any force that operate in the macro environment. If there is some technology change, what you have to do is to use the 4 P's to suit the changes that have come about in the environment. Not only technology, for any environment. For example, particular product is banned. Government bans a particular product. Then to suit the law, they will have to modify the product, change the product, or altogether introduce a new product, doing away with the dispensing with the existing product. This is how the relationship could be explained between the two.
So before formulating marketing strategy, the organization should take care of both internal as well as external environment, that is micro and macro environment.
Maybe just look at one small issue in this chart, if we can really go back to the chart. The chart has competitors in one place, here the competitors.
Yeah.
Now if you look at my organization and the competitors, both of us are influenced by the macro environmental variables, but need not necessary that the response through the 4 P's be the same. My response could be seriously different from the response of my competitor, and that has to be taken care of. I mean, you will have to look at what is my strength to respond through distribution. If a competitor responds through distribution, it need not necessarily be that you respond also with distribution. You may respond with price, you may respond with product, depending upon your organization's strengths vis-a-vis your organization's objective, in consonance with the competitor's actions.
Yeah.
That has to be borne in mind when we are talking about the marketing strategy.
Marketing mix and the marketing strategy, relationship between these two.
That's right.
Yeah, Professor Venkaya, we the human beings, we have a life cycle, that is the birth of a human being, the growth, reaching maturity, after that some declining in the health conditions and everything, and ultimately death is ultimately. So like this, even the products or services, do they have any life cycle like this?
Yes. Product life cycle is an important concept in marketing, and in fact product life cycle is a very important aspect that marketing managers should watch. As human beings have got life cycle, products also have life cycle. Earlier products have had longer life cycles. Of late, one important trend is product life cycles are shrinking. They are getting short and short. Short product life cycle. There is a controversy also. some people say that if the product has long life cycle, the product is highly successful. Some others say when the product has a shorter life cycle, it is also said it is a marketing strategy. It depends on how you look at the whole strategy. Now, in fact, this product life cycle is explained with the help of the trend in the sales for a product. Trend in the sales for a product. The product life cycle stages are 4 broadly. There are 6 in fact, but we explain 4 stages and other stages are intermittent. Now, you see the chart here. This is the time is measured on this scale and sales and profits are measured on y axis, and there are 2 curves given here. The first upper curve is called sales curve, the lower curve is profit curve. So, this is a typical product life cycle curve, and sales is the indication of the life cycle stages. Now, in the introduction stage, during this time, this is called introduction stage, where sales keep increasing, but at a very, very slow rate. During growth rate, sales increased with more response. High growth rate is witnessed here. And then this is called maturity stage. This is growth, introduction, growth, maturity, decline. And here, after maturity, saturation and abandonment will be there. Now, while in introduction the sales keep increasing, but at a low rate, growth the sales increase at a very high rate. During maturity rate, sales increase, but at a slower rate than during the growth stage, and they start declining after some time, and this is called growing maturity. This zone is called growing maturity, this zone is called stable maturity, and this zone is called declining maturity. So, maturity again has got 3 important divisions or 3 important stages: growing maturity, stable maturity and declining maturity. Once declining maturity is over and the products keep declining, sales keep declining, and if it touches this axis, if it comes down, it is abandonment, product dies, it goes out of the market. The sales trend indicates the life cycle stages. Now, profits also initially during the initial stages of introduction of a product, because of the huge investment made for introduction and launching of the product, company might incur losses also during the introduction. Once sales pick up, profits keep increasing, but at a very low rate during introduction stage, at a stable high rate during growth stage, and during maturity stage again up to growing maturity profits increase. After that profits decline further. Profits decline is much more pronounced to corresponding to sales. It is because once maturity stage is reached and sales decline, the marketer has to spend lot of money, margins get reduced and the profit comes down. This is the life cycle of any product, introduction, growth, maturity and decline. And 2 important stages I feel are introduction after commercialization or trial marketing, and then more important in terms of marketing task is, all the stages are important for that matter, but much more vigilance is required on the part of the marketing manager when the maturity stage reached. At the time of maturity, the marketer should not allow the product to die, to decline the product. He has to take measures to revitalize the product, redesign the marketing strategy and increase the life of the product further, and again this S curve will not bend downwards, it will go upwards again like this, and many life cycles can be there above that, like this, like this. So, this is what is called product life cycle. And product revitalization, it is again for competitive repositioning that product revitalization is done. And maturity also, because our sales come down because of the competitors increase in sales, and we have to attract the products when the sales customers and increase the sales by revitalizing the marketing strategy, including the product by building more attributes, more features, more functional advantages, more convenience and more preference to the customers. And I may say, for example, you take for example Synthol, New Synthol, Synthol Cologne, these are all the versions of the product improvement from time to time. Only the reason is that competitor makes them to look at the strategy and redesign the product, add some more functional attributes to the product to have a competitive edge over the customer. I think this is the concept of product life cycle.
Yeah, adding some additional qualities, like even the same is the case with Surf also. Surf Easy Wash, Surf Excel and all these things.
Yes,
adding
yes.
some additional qualities and giving some real life to the products. So, Mr. Suresh, what is the relation? Is there any linkage between the marketing mix and the product life cycle?
Oh, marketing mix and the product life cycle. When you talk of the marketing mix, may I use the same graph and then try
Yeah,
and
please.
explain to you this concept or to the students? Okay. When you talk of the marketing mix, here we are referring to, let us say at this stage when you are introducing the product, you may have to make a choice, let us say of the price. Earlier he was talking about whether you use a skimming price or a penetration price was being discussed in the previous session by Professor Venkaiah. There is a skimming or a penetration strategy, or
penetration
for that
price.
matter any other kind of pricing strategy. You may have to decide on what kind of an awareness am I going to create. Do I create a mass awareness or do I create a focused niche awareness? Therefore, your promotion has to be planned accordingly. Then, if I am going to create a narrow awareness, then what kind of a distribution am I going to do? Am I going to do an exclusive distribution or am I going to do a very intensive kind of a distribution? Okay, let us say I have an exclusive kind of a distribution, a skimming kind of a price for a particular product and a skimming kind of a price for the particular.
Hello, excuse me, sir. Hello,
Hello?
hello.
Hello, madam.
Yeah, please.
What are threats to Indian products in the light of globalization, privatization and liberalization?
Threats to the? What are the
What
threats?
are threats to Hello, madam.
Yes, please repeat your question.
What are threats to Indian products in the light of globalization, privatization?
Yeah, thank you.
Lib-
So, what are the threats to the Indian products in the light of LPG? Yeah, I request Professor Venkaiah to react.
Yeah, in the earlier session also this was addressed. Because of the globalization and deregulation that the multinational corporations have entered into the Indian market. Obviously, any Indian toiletry making enterprise to compete with Procter and Gamble is difficult. Johnson and Johnson, for example, even earlier they were there, and any new entrant in the toiletries line to compete with Hindustan Lever or Procter and Gamble is very difficult. The reason is that they have marketing strengths unparalleled to any marketer in the world. They are world marketers, they have strengths, they have excellent networking and they have sound R&D base, and they keep on innovating, developing, improving and constantly repositioning the products in the markets. And an indigenous product to compete with an international brand is always difficult, but there is a strategy that the marketer within the country should think as to where he can enter the market, how he can make a dent in the market, how he can develop a niche for himself to combat the market situation. And anybody challenging an international marketer like McDonald in the food business or Procter and Gamble or IBM or Caterpillar or Xerox is just unimaginable. An Indian marketer with modest resources. What is important is we have to design a marketing strategy suitable to the current marketing situation and successfully position the product in such a way that you are successful in your own way. There will always be threat. Threat is in terms of competition, technologically superior product and aggressive marketing campaign, marketing communication, that is advertising. You imagine the kind of ad campaign taken up by Hutch when they introduced the cellular phone in this country. Imagine how much huge amount is pumped into the Indian ad campaign to build the market for them, to develop the market. And any indigenous marketer to think in terms of that ad campaign is difficult because of the resources and also because of the competition. These are the kind of threats we have to analyze based on product to product basis.
Would you like to add anything,
Yeah,
Mr. Suresh?
see, one of the issues that we can categorize these threats into certain sets. First, enormous, possibly enormous resources they have, money power, technological power, legal power. They come with patents, stronger patents than you cannot duplicate and then you cannot produce. These are issues. And secondly, we do not know how they are going to react to market situations. If we were my Indian competitor, I know how he is likely to react to my strategy. But if he is a multinational competitor, I do not know what is he going to react. What is his objective in my Indian operations? I do not know. Whether he is looking at increasing market share or is just wanting to just be present, I may not know immediately. So, I may not know his objectives. So, lack of knowledge about the competitor's objectives, enormous knowledge, resources with the competitor, foreign competitor, protection in terms of patents and legal frameworks comes to with the foreign competitor or multinational guy. But when you look at, it is not really that it is such a threatening thing. Indians do have a very strong advantage when you are talking of local market here. The local knowledge, market knowledge does not come with the marketeer who is coming from abroad. It is available locally. And that is a very, very strong and a potent tool.
The strength of Indian
Knowledge, market knowledge in terms of distributor. How is my retailer going to react? How is my distributor going to react? From where is my customer going to buy the product? Under what conditions will he buy? Indians should have greater knowledge to that. And once they have that greater knowledge to counter the strengths of a multinational marketeer will become more comfortable. If I do not even develop marketing knowledge locally, and if the competitor from foreign comes with all the advantages, obviously it is a very difficult and a one-sided game. It does not, it is very uncomfortable for the Indian.
Yeah, we are discussing the linkage between the marketing mix and PLC, Mr. Suresh.
Right. So, if I am going to take probably a penetrative pricing strategy and I put my product in small number of outlets, may I have this chart now please, into the small number of outlets. Now, in the growth strategy, what I am expecting is this number of outlets in this strategy will have to increase seriously. From what I had here, I am going to increase the number of outlets here because I want to grow. Keep doing that a little more when you move on to the early maturity stages or growing maturity stages as was referred to earlier. And from then on, stabilize on that and start looking for whether can I get more number of customers into the same outlet, can I create great number of users with the same product, so on and so forth. Keep looking at it and try working out a greater amount of gap between the sales and profit. Get more money from every rupee that you are expending. Try and get more money by reducing the costs of operations, because you can't do that in this stage where cost of operations you may not be in a position to reduce at the introduction and the growth stage, but at the maturity stage you should be in a position to reduce your costs further and get your sales to return more money than it did return in the earlier stages. Yeah, that should be the marketing mix linkage to the PLC. Kind of.
Yeah, Professor Venki, actually this block is on planning, marketing planning.
Yes.
So, will you please explain what is marketing planning and how to actually plan for the market?
See, planning is thinking ahead. Planning is a roadmap. Planning is to move from where we are to where we want to go. To plan is to think ahead, to design a strategy and implement the same. And in any organization, planning is the first step in the management process. The same is applicable to marketing plan, marketing planning. Marketing planning is important in the design of marketing strategy.
Strategy.
Now, there are certain important contents in the marketing plan. What are they? Normally, we explain marketing plan in terms of different components. These are also called components of marketing plan. What are they? Normally, for top management in the marketing plan, we provide a brief executive summary, and this executive summary is the first important component of marketing plan, and this is self-explanatory. There is no need to discuss about it. The second is current marketing situation. This is very important. Any marketer should analyze current marketing situation. This marketing situation is analyzed in terms of market, product, competitor, technology, price, etc.
From different angles.
Different angles.
The total matrix or the
it is
picture
nothing
that was
but
shown earlier.
scanning the marketing environment, analyzing the marketing, what is the current marketing situation, and this ultimately leads to SWOT analysis. This ultimately leads to next stage is
Analyzing this.
SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis refers to opportunity and issue analysis, and here the company has to examine the opportunities or its strengths. What are its strengths? What are its opportunities? What are its threats? What are its weaknesses? And this opportunity, in marketing it is said, every social problem is a marketing opportunity. There is a problem of environmental pollution. For marketers it is an opportunity. What kind of products should be designed to control environment and to protect environment, and hence opportunity, every challenge, every social problem is an opportunity to a marketer. Marketer has to introduce products to meet the challenges of the society, to solve the problems of the society. So, opportunity and issue analysis refers to SWOT, companies' opportunities and problems. Then objectives. Here is nothing but setting the marketing objectives for the company, and then designing marketing strategy. This I don't need to explain because we have been talking about the marketing strategy, marketing mix, interrelationships, marketing strategy as an important tool for marketing success, etc. So, designing marketing strategy is another important element or component of the marketing plan. Then comes, after marketing strategy is designed by a company, implementable and actionable programs. Division of the total strategy into sub-units, sub-processes, and designing the programs which can be activated, which can be implemented, is the next important component of marketing plan. And also it goes without saying that projected profit and loss statement.
Sir, excuse me. Hello.
I have a question, madam.
Please.
It is observed that Indian marketing strategies are inferior to foreign strategies. I would like some explanation on this.
I request Mr. Suresh to. Yeah, I understand. I got the question.
Strategies are inferior to foreign.
I got the question. Yeah, thank you. I request Mr. Suresh to react. Indian marketing strategies are inferior to the strategies of foreign organizations.
Being an
Is
Indian,
it correct?
Being an Indian, I flatly refuse that anything like Indian strategy. Yes, as an economy, we don't have the kind of resources that probably a Western economy would have, and therefore certain kinds of constraints are there in terms of implementation. But certainly, when you talk of strategy as a thinking ability, we are not at all lacking in terms of thinking, designing, and the like. It might sound that Indian marketers are having a little laxed kind of an approach to their multinational competitors, but then what does it reflect in? Is it splurging of resources is what strategy? I agree. We don't have that kind of resources to really blow it off and then do nothing. But rupee invested and the rupee return we are doing a very, very good job of strategizing and seeing to it that our products get sold in the marketplace and the customers are by and large happy. One major indicator is, if you look at about 20 years ago, the lag between a product that was launched in Western world and when it came to India, a television, let us say, when it was launched in the Western world and then when it came to India, the lag was almost about 10 to 15 years. But in recent times, in the last 2 to 3 years, if you look at it, the lag between a product being launched in the Western world and the product being launched in the Indian world is reduced to almost about 30 to 40 days. That speaks volumes about our ability to compete with the world in terms of launching our products and selling it. And certain people tell me that my cell phone that I am using in India is far superior to some of the products that are available in the West. So product wise we are good. My sales force is one of the best in the world, and today we see that for Asia Pacific marketing managers, most Indians are preferred. So my marketing sales force and marketing people are excellent. The media reach, the kind of media reach that Indian television media has, about 85 to 90%, is excellent. So that's great. Pricing is reasonably competitive. Take the prices of drugs and others. I mean, we are priced very, very competitively, and we are very considerate in terms of our pricing. And if this is great, I don't see any reason to make a complaint to my Indian managers that you are inferior to your foreign counterparts.
And there are a number of Indian organizations which are marketing their services successfully.
Fantastic organizations.
And even they are dealing with foreign countries also, which are opened their branches in abroad, foreign countries also.
True. Very true. We are having a very strong marketing wing of the society which is doing its job well. It will take time to blend that sophistication that we see in the Western marketing, but you cannot call it as inferior in any sense. Inferior in any sense.
No, the thing is that there is no inferior or superior marketing. Always marketing is measured in terms of the relative performance of two competitors. Who is doing best and how best and why it is happening. Always the follower or challenger will try to emulate the market leader. The market structure for any product will be market leader, market challenger, market follower and market niches. Okay. In this process, the strategies that challenger should follow should be different from the leader strategies. The follower strategies would be altogether different from the strategies followed by the market leaders and the market challengers, and market niche strategies are narrowed down to a particular niche, and hence the strategies are diverse based on the approach that they adopt for the company and also to accomplish the marketing objectives. And hence what we have to see is whether the marketing strategy adopted by a company is realizing the goal that it has set for itself or not. And we need not compare with the marketing strategies of multinational corporations which are extending the market beyond the borders of a country. Even in the Indian marketers which are marketing outside the Indian borders, they are doing wonderfully and capturing the market share to the extent possible there. Take the examples of Titan, and low end market, take the example of Nirma, and also the excellent company like Reliance Industries Limited, and diverse products that they have entered in. See, these are, for example, Bajaj Group and Maruti Car, though we have collaboration, the Indian strategy, these are all the examples where we can say, and Colgate Palmolive India, these are all the products which are very successful. They are successful marketers within the country.
Yeah. We are discussing about marketing planning, Professor Venkaya.
Yeah. Yes. Marketing planning, marketing plan contents we were talking about. No? Action programs. After marketing strategy is designed, we have to divide the marketing strategy into subdivisions, sub activities, and each activity needs an action plan, and those action plans have to be defined and clearly designed. And then after that, projected profit and loss statement. This is important because ultimately this profit and loss should not be the case. Loss may be there at the time of launching of the product or introduction, but there should not be any loss aimed at. Maybe there will be there in the first 3 years or first 2 years when the product is launched, and hence when the loss may take place, and from what time the project gets the profit to the product gets the profit to the company, etc., and controls the feedback from market from time to time, and the research information given by different functionaries in the market in the marketing department should lead to monitoring and control measures, and always these controls should be for good performance and for making profit with customer satisfaction. And wherever there are some laxities or limitations or lapses, the marketer should address himself to the issues. As I said, the three questions: who are our customers, what are their needs, and what should we do to gain the preference of the customers compared to our competitors. We must not lose a customer, we must not allow any small fraction of percentage of market share under any circumstances. Should be the marketing control department, it should look at it, and all these are the contents of marketing plan.
I am afraid time may not be sufficient to discuss the last unit actually as we planned, that is market segmentation. So in the meantime, Mr. Suresh, some new concepts are actually emerging in the field of marketing, like customer relationship management, others. Will you please explain these new concepts?
See, customer relationship management and customer relationship marketing, we are talking of these issues in the light of high level of penetration of internet technologies or networking technologies, so we may call it. But as of now, largely CRM, as we shortly call it, is under the purview of the IT people. The technology people seem to be the owners of this concept of CRM, and there is a very, very strong view that this onus should shift to the marketing people, because the marketing people are the interface of the company with the customers. What happens in customer relationship management is we identify those areas where customers are in contact with the organization, and each of these touch points, if you may call so, gives some kind of a benefit to the organization. It is the endeavor of the people in the organization to identify these touch points and look at how much benefit or non-benefit is coming to the organization based by studying these touch points and reacting accordingly. It will take some time before it totally translates into an operable entity in most organizations. Today it is in few organizations operational, but largely at the conceptual level we are thinking of how to enhance profitability to the organization through a mechanism of relationship vis-a-vis the earlier mechanisms of transaction. If you had transaction, you got one kind of profit. People are today talking of, if you have relationship, you will have a totally different kind of profit. One, they are saying you might have enhanced profit. Two, they are saying that you may not survive in the market if you don't develop relationships. And that really forces the marketing people to look at customers' relationship very differently from what they were looking probably about 10 to 12 years ago, 15 years ago.
Would you like to add, Professor Rege, about all this?
In fact, it's a recent concept. This is because of the technology that has come into being, fast changing technology and the ICTs used in marketing process. Now, there used to be emphasis on transaction orientation earlier. Now, there is a shift towards relationship, and hence the shift from transaction orientation to relationship orientation is called customer relationship. In other words, it is called patronage between the marketer and the customers, marketers and suppliers also. It is market driven and it is technology driven. It is not company driven. The relationship marketing is not company driven.
We may slightly change
it is technology driven, it is market driven, it is customer driven rather. It is because of the competitiveness that the customer relationship marketing has come into being, and it is because of technology. And it is a long run relationship between the marketer and customer for mutual benefit. It is not, see, one transaction, the business is not over, the relationship is not over. And in fact, in marketing, it is said the actual marketing begins after the sale is over. The actual marketing begins after the sale is over. And hence, the relationship here is for mutual benefit of the customer and the marketer, and it is a long run sustainable relationship for mutual benefit. And always looking for customer satisfaction, customer looking up for any help from the company. Company should always seeing the comfort and benefit of the customer through its products, high quality product, high quality service, and then partnership between the customer and the company. This is the concept of customer relationship
management.
Customer driven, technology supported.
Yeah.
That is the paradigm.
Fine.
So thank you very much, Professor Venkaya and Mr. Suresh, for being with us today. And of course, as I mentioned just now, we could not cover all the units actually originally what we planned. So thank you very much for the participants also for their active participation in the sessions.
Thank you.